People voting for more trash talk in the Acer Team Story Cup. That would certainly be dynamic, although probably incredibly bad manners. So you're not going to see Korean players do it anytime soon, but that would be kind of cool to have some like sort of trash talk thread go up, or not thread, chat go up between the two teams, even if it's just friendly jabs. But guys, here we are in game number 2. Scores displayed up here at all times between the two teams. Of course, it's not reflective, well, kind of reflective of the players, but again, it's best of 9 between these two teams, not between the particular players. It's best of 1s as far as the players are concerned. Now, I'm Rifkin, joined today by Zombie Grub and Spawna here in the lower right corner of the map, currently leading the series so far, 1-0. It is from Team Liquid, the blue Protoss, HerO.
See, any BM or anything like that will be encrypted anyways, doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
In the upper left, as the red Zerg, it's going to be Axiom's Impact, their newest player, and their only Zerg.
Yeah, kind of fun fact about him. They picked him up much longer, a much longer time ago than they were actually allowed to play him in the Acer Team Story Cup. I guess, first off, Acer Team Story Cup, they have rules for everything. They seriously have, there's nothing that there isn't a rule for. And I guess one of the things was, hey, we got this new player, can we use them? And they're like, you gotta wait like 2 weeks or something. So he kind of had to wait some time to make his debut. But as I said earlier, he started off strong. Against Team Liquid, it's going to be difficult for any player, of course. The same could be said for Team Liquid against Axiom. I mean, these are two really good teams coming up against one another.
We have an interesting opener from Impact right now. I believe it was a 13, it was like a 12 gas or something, or 13 gas and a 13 pool. And, you know, all guys are in gas. This is an early pool, I'm guessing, with speed. It's just so oddly timed, though, too. Like, it's not like a 10 pool with gas with speed, which isn't popular at all anymore.
Well, I think we're going to see something similar here out of Impact to what we saw against Bly, expecting the gateway expand. Here, of course, doing an expand gateway a little backwards, but this is, I got to say out of HerO, this is a really ballsy opening for a Protoss player. Going for Nexus this early, this could, if this is a bunch of speedlings to follow this up, HerO's in a lot of trouble.
It is. I mean, the good news is that because, okay, the good news is that the Nexus does not finish and the Lings waste time attacking it, then he can just cancel it, right?
Yeah.
If it does finish because he has no idea this is coming until it's too late, luckily he's probe scouting, and that would be a bigger deal. But he probe scouts, he sees, hey, that pool is wiggling and it's up. That's not right. And he'll probably wait the longest he can to go ahead and cancel that Nexus. He might try and save it, but I don't know about that.
Well, the nice thing for Impact here is we see him already putting a natural down, so whether this is just for continued all-in aggression or whether this is to sort of macro out of one way or another, this is a very early investment for him to be making like this. Zeld is going to come out, it's going to hold position on the wall, cancels immediately, HerO not even going to waste any time with that. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the best decision that HerO can make, and Impact's already, you know, that build's already kind of worth it. I mean, that was a very invested Nexus with the first thing they threw down, and it's gone. It was like 80% complete or something like that. That was pretty far along, and now he can just poke at this. Now, HerO did get a Forge, you know, as opposed to just the Zealot and the Cybernetics core, and he will be able to throw down a cannon to help that Zealot out, and of course be able to wall off the secondary natural as well. But now Impact, it looks like he's going to try and contain a little bit. Like, HerO really can't move out until he has a hefty number, and then even then there's a threat of a counterattack, or not a counterattack, but going into the main, you know? So he's got to be really careful on how he takes his natural.
What's actually kind of cool, though, out of Impact, whether this was intended or not, he's kind of forced HerO to really overinvest in defenses for the time being. I mean, typically when you go for, say, the gateway expand first, you'll have that Zealot out. Oh, just barely can't kill that probe. With the gateway out earlier, you know, you get the mothership core, then you put the Nexus down safe and sound. But in this sort of instance, HerO's been forced to play this incredibly awkward, incredibly backwards, still no mothership cores, and had to invest in 2 Zealots and a Sentry instead of his typical 1 Zealot, maybe a Stalker, if that, to follow it up, and still no natural. So I gotta say out of HerO, this was a very bold opening that did not make sense to me. Playing against a player like Impact, no less. I mean, if this was some random diamond ladder scrub, okay, go Nexus first, good luck to you. But against someone like Impact, I don't know if he just really underestimated his opponent or was hoping on getting away with greed, but man, is it not paying off. He's even going for a Dark Shrine right now. Not something you typically see in ZVP this early, at least not anymore. We'll see if he can make this work, but this is kind of a very forced situation for our Team Liquid player.
And Impact should be on top of, you know, what can he do right now. And when behind Dark Shrine is usually the way to go, right? So he's got to make sure to prepare for that, maybe set an Overlord in. He does have Overlords in position to go ahead and Suicide Scout. He'll really want to do that within the next 30 seconds. If not, He might, go ahead and get that third cancer or something like that. That's something that, surprise DTs can do. If they go for the drones, they can get a lot of drones. But if they all go for the third hatchery, they can easily get that kill.
Yeah. Worth noting too, just small side note from anything going on in the game right now, guys. People asking, no, this is just Axiom. This is not like Axiom ACO like you see over in Korea. This is just the roster of Axiom, so they don't have access to Scarlet or MMA or any of those guys. This is just the purest form of Axiom you can get.
Which means no innovation to help them out of a tight spot. No.
Not that they necessarily need him, though. I mean, Axiom's been playing really well this entire season. I mean, they're currently seated in the top 4. It's up to them to hold that spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
okay, good. The Overlord did see it, but it's already finished, and there are one. There's not even a. Okay, there wasn't even a proxy pylon, so
well, it's just
this
now
Dark
coming
Templar
up,
has to run.
Spore Crawler's immediately coming down at every base, though, out of impact. Of course, without that layer, can't risk waiting to make that overseer. So I like these playing the safe. And the time of that's going to be really nice. It's just the first Dark Templar arrives at third base. It's going to kill quite a few workers. Forced to pull some, but there we go. Now that thing's complete, he should be able to hold on to this.
Mm-hmm. So luckily HerO didn't warp in 3 to try and get the hatchery kill or anything like that, so only 1 is not a huge investment, but remember that HerO's already so far behind because of that opener worked out so well for Impact. Impact currently up by about, now actually about 20 drones, so that's quite far behind, and HerO of course has to decide, do I use my Chronobus to try and get back into economy or try and get some units really fast to try and actually deal some return damage, and it looks like he's going to choose a Void Ray opener rather than the usual Phoenix opener that we see.
Yeah, this was, I really feel like HerO's reading this wrong. I mean, to go for a Void Ray this early, I mean, it's good against Lings of any numbers to an extent, but I kind of think he was expecting Roaches, which are eventually coming out, but it's not like they were slamming into his wall early, and investing so many resources into the Void Ray like this, like you said, expect the Phoenix because the Phoenix allow you to harass, they allow you to get map control, they allow you to be on the field. But unfortunately, investing in Dark Templar that did not work out. Now investing in a Void Ray that's going to be necessary, but not right now. This is costing HerO a lot.
He's going to try and get a third. Of course, the earlier you can get it, the better off you can be with the Sim City and well as that cannon, of course. And he's going to try, but Impact, he's doing what Zergs do. They get a handful of Lings, and they should always be checking that third, especially on Belshir, where the third is kind of susceptible to counterattacks and whatnot. And Impact's also just going ahead and picking up really fast, getting a Hydrogen as well as an Infestation Pit. He might go up to Hive and try and get some Vipers, but now that he sees the Void Ray, he's got to wonder, are you going to go into Void Rays, or is that just only 1?
Is that Overseer? No, it's not going to get away. I don't think it's faster. Not until speed kicks in, so... I thought I was going to get away for a second. A little bit of a heart-wrenching moment, but Overseer and the main scouts, everything going on. Sees no further tech path, no double forges, no nothing crazy. Knows the HerO's on the very limited gateways and a Robo-Bay to follow this up. I mean, all in all, I got to say, everything out of HerO so far this game has been awkward to say the least, but he's making the right moves going into the late game now. In fact, maybe not. Triple Stargate? Is he really going to go mass Void Rays versus a Hydralisk composition? I mean, that can work, but it's very selective of how that works. I'll go
Some Lings do get in the main, and that's a good scout. I was actually worried that he wouldn't scout it, and that would be HerO's, ace is to come out with 6 Void Rays rather than just the 1 that Impact was expecting. But now that it's scouted, Impact knows, okay, Hydras are definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and this is, Pro's getting picked off here, so getting, taken out a little bit. Lings actually burrow Impact, invested in burrow early on. Missed that, but gonna utilize it here, so there's no detection just yet. As Colossus coming out first after the Warp Prism, no Observer in base. Dark Templar still being a bit of a nuisance on the map, but... yeah, okay, so for you guys to know, if this is mass Void Ray production, Queens actually technically fare better versus Void Rays than Hydralisks do, but of course Hydralisks versus Void Rays, it depends on the numbers, if one can overwhelm the other, but it's not going to be for triple Void Rays, but instead triple Phoenix. This is something you typically see in response to Mutalisks, not as an opener versus Hydralisks. I mean, okay, Phoenix have bonus damage versus Hydralisks. The Graviton Beam is going to be nice, he'll pick a lot of them up, but the problem is he's so limited on what he can do just due to the mechanics of the Phoenix, so... I don't know that this is going to really work. And HerO's even losing a sentry here. A couple Zealots go down as well. That's 3 Lings. Or 2 Lings are still burrowed.
Okay, he really needs to scout it. I don't believe he can really see what's coming out of the gateways right now. Yeah, he can't. Burrow reduces the vision by a lot. That Void Ray goes down super fast. But HerO might be... okay, of course he's banking on the fact that it's going to be a surprise. No matter what else happens, these Phoenixes are going to be a surprise, and Impact's going to be like, what the heck? And yeah, they can pick up the Hydralisk, and if there's enough of them, they can pick up a lot of Hydralisk and really help out. But most importantly, if he invests in Colossus as well, they can take down those Vipers. and then he's really open to go ahead and get those Colossus, which are going to be, you know, the heftier damage dealers, right? But now that's a lot of Phoenixes, and
That's a
he might
lot.
move out right now and try and just surprise him rather than keep him at home and try and defend. And yeah, he is. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Okay, so Impact now knows what's up. Okay, so let's talk about this for a sec, guys. Math-wise, you only need 4 Phoenixes to pick up a Hydralisk to one-shot it. Oh, but unfortunately, when you use the Phoenix to Graviton beam up a Hydralisk, yes, it takes that 1 Phoenix out of the fight. So immediately burrowing here out of Impact. Oh, such a sick move. I love his use of Burrow. You don't see enough people utilize it to its fullest potential, but rather than losing all the drones here, only loses a couple, burrows the rest, goes for a bit of a push. Only 1 Colossus here, and the first couple sentries already burning their energy. So there's actually not really a follow-up. Big grip or big abduct goes off, and he's gonna need.
That HerO's kind of dead. It looks like Impact's gonna go for the 3rd though first, and breaking into a Process natural is hard, so HerO might be able to just survive, but only on 2 bases.
Nope, good game. Just gonna tap out, but that's all right because that ties us up now 1-1. Axiom versus Team Liquid. Cool beans. That was a weird game, Zombie Grub. That was a weird game.
It was kind of a build order win that just lasted, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Alright, guys. Well.